Welcome back, everybody. The time now is almost 7:30 on this Wednesday night. Thanks very, very much for choosing us. So joining us in studio, we've got political analyst and former ANC MP, Melanie Verwoerd. Melanie, thank you. Thanks again for being with us. We talk about the president, the things he said this afternoon. I want to get your views. What did you think of what he was saying and still pledging his innocence?
You know, extraordinary interview. Absolutely just making out that he's the complete victim here, telling us very slowly and methodically his side of the story. And you know, irrespective of the content, what I'm really interested in is why. Why did he do that? You know, and what is the end game with all of this? Is it purely that he wants to get this off his chest and is planning to resign? Or is he actually giving us a warning and saying, no, they did not handle this process properly. I am going absolutely nowhere. And that one line that he said, if Parliament throws me out, of course I have to go.
Yeah.
But I don't see any other reason what I've done that deserves this.
I mean, is that a sign of defiance? I mean, did we get any clues in today as to the direction that the president's going to take? He has said that he is going to address us this evening. What he says, we don't know. Were there clues given to us?
Look, you can microanalyze his speech from various angles, you know, but then, you know, we know that he wanted to address the media this morning and didn't in the end. Something happened. Now, I get a distinct feeling that Cyril Ramaphosa is keeping him away from podiums, from mics, you know, that they definitely didn't know this was coming, the SABC interview either. You get the sense that he is worried about what he can say, what he might just say, and I'm wondering if there had been a subtle threat at some stages. If you guys do this, wait and see what I will say. So, I mean, it's interesting that he hasn't said anything yet. Now we know he loves doing things at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night.
Don't
you know,
say that.
just to annoy everybody, especially on Valentine's night. We're hoping. I mean, I was really hoping that with all the wives and so on, that he'd put it tonight.
I've got a candle burning at home with a romantic dinner. I'm hoping the candle will still be lit by the time I get home. So we're in for a late night. I mean, let's not kid.
Well, if he's going to do something, you know, he might just, if this, I mean, we know now that this might be this court attempt from an organization that supports him. If that is indeed the case, he might just actually release a statement at some point saying, well, given, you know, how the ANC loves doing that, saying it's now sub judice or whatever, that he just says, I'm going to wait. Whether there's grounds or not, you know, this is all playing for time. And every day that he's still there, he wins to some extent, you know, and Cyril Ramaphosa looks weaker and the ANC looks more chaotic.
Yeah. Look, we've been here before with former President Thabo Mbeki. He has resigned. It's not the first time in the history of the ANC that we've seen a president being recalled and addressing the nation, my fellow South Africans, I'm leaving. Thank you for your time and I thank you for mine. However, the first position that the country will ever find itself, and particularly the ANC, is if tomorrow proceeds. What damage will this do to the party?
Well, first of all, it is catastrophic for Zuma himself, and certainly for Zuma's legacy. I mean, you know, the one thing you must know is that's what people will remember, is him leaving, you know, in this horrible, humiliating, embarrassing way. Now, we know that the Speaker has said it's going to be an open ballot, and that's, of course, also to check on ANC people that they don't, in the end, actually defy the instruction now, which seems to be vote with the EFF. So it's going to be catastrophic for him and his legacy. For the ANC, I actually think it will show some courage if they actually throw him out. Look, they're not going to like the fact that they give the EFF this major victory because, you know, wow, the EFF is going to have bragging rights on this one forever. I mean, we know Julius Malema has always said, I am going to get rid of Jacob Zuma. And if they succeed tomorrow with that motion, we know the ANC is trying to amend the motion slightly. I think the line, from what I hear, that they're trying to put in somewhere is to say, as agreed by the NEC. You know, so they're trying to slightly take ownership of the motion as well. But ultimately, this is going to be with the EFF. So the ANC, on the one hand, will look very courageous, I think, for finally doing the right thing. But secondly, also the EFF is going to look like the ones who've really grabbed the victory. You know?
I mean, this is going to be quite a moment for Julius Malema if tomorrow goes ahead. I mean, to be standing up as the first opening speaker of Parliament to open the no vote of confidence against a man that basically he formed a party on. You know, and that is something that he is going to feel victory like never before.
Such revenge for him. You know, I am reminded about Matthew Sposa, which said in an interview that I had with him, is that you never throw comrades in the dustbin, because if you do, they grow into big rats and they come out and they bite you. And he said it specifically in line with Julius Malema, because he, of course, he was against Julius Malema's throwing out of the ANC or being expelled from the ANC. I mean, for Malema, this is the ultimate sweet revenge, right?
It certainly is. Now, I mean, if, you know, I suppose a lot of people speak about the cabinet, and that the fact that this is really not just about President Jacob Zuma, and that we've got some bad eggs in the cabinet, that they themselves need to go as well. If it happens tomorrow, and we just heard constitutionally that vote of no confidence goes ahead positively, they all go. But tonight, if just the president resigns, they still stay, and then of course it's left to the next president, who, you know, in effect would be Cyril Ramaphosa, to reshuffle. Who do you think should go?
So that, you know, that is what's neat about the vote of no confidence.
Yeah.
You know, they all need to go.
It's
now you have
clean
it's clean.
wipeout.
You have a moment, of course, there's 30 days basically where Baleka Mbete then becomes president. But they can do it. You know, they can swear him in they can vote on him and swear him in within an hour if they want to. And then, of course, he can very quickly then appoint his new cabinet. The urgency is, of course, to have a finance minister in place by next week that can deliver the budget, but also that can show it with confidence. Who must go? Well, there's obviously a few very rotten eggs that needs to go. But Tabile Dlamini being the first one to think of. But of course, she's Women's League chairperson, so highly likely that she will just be moved. Lynn Brown for what she's done under ESCOM. Des van Rooyen, frankly, because I don't think he's contributed anything positive at all in cabinet yet, and he's just been found guilty of lying to Parliament. I think Malusi Gigaba, not so much because he's done anything wrong, but just because the markets don't trust him. So I think they will have to gradually, you know, he will have to go somewhere else. And of course, the really, really big question is going to be on everybody's, that's the one thing everybody's watching, maybe unfairly so, but is what happens, you know, who's going to be the new finance minister? Yeah. We're hearing a lot of names. We're hearing Jonas's name a lot, you know, so that would be interesting. Pravin Gordhan's name is hanging around, but I don't think that is most probably what's going to happen. I think he would be fantastic in public enterprises now. But I think what is very important is that those 4 people that Jacob Zuma threw out clearly because they were against him, you know, and made their opinions known about that, I think they should all be back for being courageous and for sending the message that that is okay.
Yeah.
You know,
one name, I don't know whether you mentioned it or not, I may have missed it. Mzwabisi Zwane.
Absolutely.
I mean, this man could find himself behind bars at the rate of what happened today with the raid on the Guptas. I mean, and let's not kid. President Jacob Zuma is still the president as we sit and speak today, and yet under his watch, the Guptas have been raided, and there are 5 people that have been arrested, and names are floating around. You know, we're not going to get into that, but you know, this is falling fast.
You know, it's extraordinary. The one thing that happens in politics is once it starts rolling, it rolls fast, and it's spectacular usually. You know, the same thing happened with Thabo Mbeki. Once the wheels came off, they come off very quickly. And you know, it just becomes a car crash. You are so correct about Zwane, of course. And I mean, the other person that must be fairly panicky tonight must be Ace Magashule as well. No wonder he looked slightly off color yesterday as well.
Indeed.
And of course, it would be very interesting at some point to know the full history of what happened today. You know, who was informed about this, you know, and why did they choose today of all days? Was it because they thought one of the Guptas or AJ Gupta was going to leave the country? Was it that they got, you know, why today? Did they inform Cyril Ramaphosa that they were going to do it? I presume they would have, you know. Did Jacob Zuma know that they were? Is that what happened this morning at 10 o'clock? Who knows? But it's all moving quite fast now, you know, and I think at this stage in a positive direction.
Indeed, and you know, we say it's moving fast, but it's taken a long time to get here. A lot of people speaking out, a lot of journalists that have put their necks on the line, a lot of leaked emails, a lot of people that have been forming foundations and speaking at funerals and memorial services and at any podium that they can find to express their grievances with the way the country is going and the way things are going, and we are seeing it changing.
And paying a really high price for it. You know, I mean, people like Pravin Gordhan, Derek Hanekom, so many of people, Aaron Motsoaledi, all of those who were really brave at speaking out, really against the odds. And then they have taken enormous suffering personally to their health, to their families, you know, death threats, etc. You know, and we mustn't forget, this has not been a pleasant, but ultimately the biggest thing is the damage this has done to the country, you know, and for me, I have to say, apart from the politics, the thing that really saddens me is that hope that we as South Africans had, that will to be the best that we can be, that hope that we can really do this and be fantastic, that was killed in the last few years under Jacob Zuma's rule. And I hope that will come back. It seems that it can come back under Cyril Ramaphosa.
Yeah. Melanie Verwoerd, thank you so much for talking to us, and go home and rest. I know you're not feeling too well, but just take it easy, and we'll all be watching together to see what happens in the next couple of hours here on the program. Now, let's take a look at what